Hey everyone, welcome to TJ's Kitchen. For today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to make this Easter-themed piñata cake. Let's get started. So first thing that I'm doing is taking some cake crumbs, and what I do is whenever I cut the top off of the cakes, I always save that part and then put it in the fridge for whenever I need to make cake pops or anything like that. Then I'm adding in about a tablespoon or two of chocolate ganache. And realize that I need a bit more. And you're just going to add it until it comes together and forms into a nice ball in your hand. It doesn't crumble apart. Then I'm taking a little bit of the cake mixture and forming it into a little bowl in my hands, and then placing in some little chocolates inside of it. Then I'm taking a bit more of the cake pop mixture and just forming it into an egg shape in my hand. And I'm going to be doing that. I made about 10 of them, and then I'm putting it into the fridge so that they can set. Once they are done in the fridge, I'm just taking some melted chocolate in a cake pop stick. First, I'm putting the cake pop stick into the cake pop so that there is a hole, so that when you dip your cake pop stick into the chocolate, you can just place it into that hole. And just do that to all of your cake pops. And then put it into the fridge for about 20 minutes. Now, since my cake pops are really big, I'm going to be adding in about a teaspoon of vegetable oil to each of my chocolate here. I have a purple, pink, and a mint bluey green color. I add in the vegetable oil just to make sure that the chocolate isn't too heavy for the cake pop and it doesn't cause it to fall off of the stick. Then I'm just taking my cake pop, and then I'm just draping on some melted chocolate onto the cake pop. I do it this way rather than dipping, because sometimes I find that the cake pop just falls into the chocolate once you dip it. So I use a spoon just to drape it over. And then I'm tapping onto my wrist to get off any excess chocolate. And then putting on my cake pop stand and into the fridge for at least 30 minutes. You really want to make sure that these are nice and hard. And do that for all of your chocolate colors. Then once your cake pops are done in the fridge, you're just going to push out the cake pop from the stick so that you're left with a really nice egg cake pop. So now for the cake, what I did was I just cut off the top of the cake, scored the cake around the middle and cut it in half. And you're going to be doing this to another 6-inch cake so that you have 4 layers in total. Then with 2 of the layers of cake, you're going to cut out a hole in the middle. I believe my cookie cutter was a 4-inch cookie cutter. And then put those off to the side. Then you are going to take your bottom layer of cake, and this is the one that doesn't have a hole, and you're going to place on some buttercream and smooth it out with your spatula. Then for your second layer of cake, it's going to be the layer of cake with the hole in the middle. Just going to make sure that it's centered properly on your cake and then push it down. Then just place on some buttercream around the cake so that your next layer will stick to it. Then for your third layer, it's also going to be the layer with the hole in the middle. You're actually going to fill in that hole with some candy. I'm using some mini eggs and some chocolate covered almonds with this really nice shimmery pearl effect to it. And just fill that hole with as much or as little candy as you'd like. Then put some more buttercream around the top of that layer. And then put on your final layer of cake. Now for this layer, you're just going to do the crumb coat, which is just a thin layer of buttercream all around the cake. And then when you're done with the crumb coat, just put it into the fridge for about 20 minutes so that it will set. Once it's set in the fridge, you're just going to add on a generous amount of buttercream. This is your final layer of buttercream. So first, I'm just taking my buttercream and smoothing it off of the top, and then taking a bunch more and putting it all around the sides of the cake. Then I am taking my bench scraper and scraping back most of the buttercream. This is so that you get really smooth sides on it. And if you see any little holes or patches where there's no buttercream, just put a little bit more buttercream onto the area and then smoothen it back again with your bench scraper. Then take your spatula and smooth off the top of the cake. Then when you are happy with how smooth your cake looks, just clean up your cake board so that you don't get that on your final layer, and then put it back into the fridge for about 10 minutes so that it sets. While your cake is in the fridge, you're going to make the chocolate ganache for the drip effect. So I'm just taking some white chocolate ganache and putting in some green food coloring. Just mixing that until I get the color that I like. Once your cake is done in the fridge, I'm just putting it back onto my cake stand. And then I put my chocolate ganache into a little squeeze bottle and I did the drip effect. You can make your drips as long or as short as you'd like. I made mine different sizes. Also, if you want yours a bit shorter, then add a bit more chocolate to your chocolate ganache. I'll have all the ingredients recipe on my blog, tarajoan.com. I will leave that in the link below. Then I'm just squeezing on some chocolate ganache to the top of the cake and just pushing it to the sides with the back of my spoon. Then for the last little bit of decoration, first I'm going to put on my chocolate Easter egg piñata cake pops on the top of the cake. And then I'm just topping it with the chocolate almond pearl candies. And then to top it off, I'm using some little pearl sprinkles all around the chocolate ganache. And then when you're done, you can cut into it and then you see the really cool piñata effect with all the chocolate candies in the middle. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to TJ's Kitchen. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!